Hey YouTube, as threatened earlier on, here is the doner guitar. Not doner kebab, had to make that joke. Yeah, so this is, I just had this in for a quick setup. Really just dusted the truss rod, set the bridge up so it's slightly floating. Did all the usual. This is actually pretty good. If you're just thinking of buying one of these as your first guitar, I did have to do a wee bit of setup, but not that much. It played. It was kind of alright. Which might have been maybe that was just luck when the guy bought it. He happened to get a good one, but nothing on it is shit. Which, when you're talking about a guitar, I think he said he paid £100 for it. It came with an amp, not the wee donor amp, which is actually pretty good. That sort of money, a gig bag of a strap and all these things. But it's great. I had to cut the nut a wee bit, but didn't. I'm used to setting up guitars, so it's like there was a wee bit of adjusting to be done, but not. It didn't need it. That's what I'm trying to say. It was fine. It really was. These bolts were tight. Really? Why can't everybody else do that? Every time I've ever got a guitar, especially even expensive ones, you take the strings on. First thing you just make sure these bolts here are tight because they're normally not. On this one they were. It's like, so I don't know whether the owner's done that himself or not. Yeah, so it's got a humbucker. It doesn't automatic coil split. I would do that, but I think the way the 5-way switch works, I can do the automatic coil split, and so when you're in position 2, you get this pickup and half of this one, but I need the other side of the switch, so I can't do it with a guitar that's got 2 tone controls, because the 2 tone controls come off the other side of the switch. So can't do that, but it's still quite. I mean, there's the bucker. There's position 2, which is still a good sound. It's still usable. It's not quite as glassy as the 2 neck position, the 2 singles. But it's a Strat. But the thing is, I'm noticing more than anything else is the fact it's got a really flat fingerboard. Not that flat, it's like a 10-inch radius. But I'm used to, saying like that, I'm pretty sure that's got a 10-inch radius as well. What I think is different is it's because it's so new. See how you always see Anderton's talking about having rolled edges in the fingerboard. This doesn't have rolled edges in the fingerboard. None of my guitars probably did, but because they're all 30 years old, they get rolled by just somebody playing it. So I think maybe it possibly take a bit of, I don't know, someone told me, who's it, they used, the spongy sanding blocks. You can kind of roll the edge of the fingerboard. It does take off the finish, but I mean, it's a dark wood. I don't think it's rosewood. Kind of looks like ebony, to be honest. I wonder if it's ebonized, i.e. stained black. Body, it's I don't know. It's got a fair. It's not super light. It's about average weight. It kind of looks like one piece of. It looks like ash, but I mean, is that a veneer that's been put on in bed? I don't really know. You can normally tell looking at these guitars when the sunburst doesn't do this, it does this, because that's when it goes into the plywood. So you don't really get plywood guitars anymore though. But everything seems to work okay. So neck pickup. Played through the orange TH30. Tone control. Too much tone control. And then position 4. Middle pickup, but when you just position 2, which I've already showed you, which is the bucker, and then bridge humbucker. Just get a bridge humbucker and rat pedal. Good guitar, totally fine. I was actually the guy gave me a Squire he'd been given by one of his pals, and I was thinking, oh, that'd be a good fight out, which is better. And out of these particular two, it's most definitely this one, because this one the truss rod doesn't work. So luckily I noticed that before I did any more work to it, so I don't have to. But you try and turn it, it just keeps turning. So that it's probably not the guitar's fault. It's probably someone in the past over tightened it and snapped it, and basically the bolt's still in there, so you just turn it. There's no resistance on it. But if these are kicking in at 100 quid, you can do an awful lot worse than that. I mean, my only real gripes with this are the frets aren't super polished. They were covered in like some. I gave them a bit of a wipe. They're covered in like I assume it's like an anti-rust thing from the factory. And I think the strings that were on it were probably the factory strings as well. So I mean, they're pretty much pants always, even on good guitars. But it's a surprise how stratty it is. It sounds like a Strat. But I mean, as I said, I went through it, and it's like I've gone through quite a few modern guitars, and the bits are just crap. And this one, tuners are all right. The bridge saddles are all right. They're not. None of this is top of the line, made in American hardware, of course, but it works. You can hear the high E. It's there. But you often find with the really bad single coil pickups, there's no high E. Sometimes there's no B either, but it seems to pick up the low strings okay. But it's all there, and it's playing better now than when I got it. I've half the action on it. I've now got it set like a turbo classical speed metal beast. But so ideally, you'd probably say if you were going to play slide guitar, probably a bit low for that. Whereas as it was before, it was acceptable. It played. It had. I noticed there was some filing read about the nut. Somebody had set it up in the factory at some point. Maybe a very rough 5-minute setup, but not. Also, I noticed that the screws in the back were all tight, so this was just hardtailed. Which, to be honest, if you're selling a beginner guitar, and if the first guitar you bought is a Strat, I would probably suggest, unless you know someone who can adjust these things, just having it hardtailed and just forget about the tremolo completely. Because if there's a little bit, it's like, I mean, you can see me using it there. I mean, you don't use it much. The tendency is to just go, wah! Here we go! And it won't stay in tune like that. Even Jimi Hendrix's 69 Strat, probably worth £20,000 now, didn't do that. That's why you keep seeing him changing strings. But for normal wobbles, like what it's meant to do. Yep, so I'm going down to Troon now. A surprise birthday party. Basically, I'm going for the food. I'm in the studio at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I will not be drinking, even though I was actually offered. So, am I going to put this out tonight? I don't know. 5 o'clock? I probably do have time to actually put it out tonight. I might put it out now. Whenever you see this rocking, and I'm sorry about this Strat, if the owner of the Strat, I'll give you a message tomorrow. You did say you got it for nothing, which is fine, but it's a shame. But the neck's the one thing that I can't really replace. Well, you can replace it, but you have to buy another neck, and another neck is a Squier neck's probably going to cost you the same as a Squier Strat. Just the way it is. I do actually have one Squier Strat neck, but it's spoken for. I've already got a guitar that I'm halfway through building that's got that in it. Rock on!